Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Author's Quill. I hope everyone's having a great and wonderful afternoon wherever you are on our big, beautiful blue planet. I mean, really and truly, guys, Earth is a nice place to live. You could be out there on Venus or somewhere, so be happy. Just kidding. I want to welcome everyone in today. I know it's been crazy around the country for everybody living in the U.S. Our weather is so insane right now and diverse all over the place. I was talking to a friend of mine in Miami. It's 88 there. It's 80 outside here. Talking to a friend of mine in Pennsylvania, they got 2 foot of snow. It's like, okay, a lovely, lovely, lovely place. But we have winners on today. All the guests today, actually, for the next 4 shows, will be winners of the Writers and Illustrators of the Future contest. And y'all get to meet them on a first name basis and who they are. And of course, they'll be back on other shows after doing the event and after the event. So you really get to really understand who the winners are and how they won and why they're here with us. So, Sean, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm very happy to be here, Joe. Nice to see you again.
It's always good to have. You know what? What's that, Jimmy? Oh, sorry, I got somebody just popped me on the screen. No, we're gonna ask you now. Calm down, people. So anyway, we're gonna start with the fluffy stuff first. So what in the world made you decide that you could write? I mean, were you just sitting at home one day and decided, okay, I'm going to be an author, or were you just was it something you caught from TV? Or I always ask because it seemed to be a little bit different for everybody I talked to.
I got hooked on reading when I was 6. It was an Enid Blyton book. And basically, as soon as I started reading stories, I wanted to start writing them as well. So I've been tinkering away ever since. It's kind of sometimes a bit difficult to find the time, but kind of whenever I can find the time, it's basically what I like to spend the time doing.
So what's your favorite genre to write in?
It's definitely sci-fi fantasy. Anything with a glimmer of the spectacular is what I really like. I've experimented writing kids for children, especially when my own kids were younger. But again, it's always very much a sort of fantasy or sci-fi basis.
So you had a great story, because now we can talk about stories since the judging is all done. So a little bit about your story, because we want people to pre-order your book.
Yeah, okay. I mean, my story is called The Triceratops Effect, and it is basically about time travelers faking the asteroid strike that wiped out the dinosaurs. So, in effect, it came to me one night. I was perhaps slightly the worse for wear. It was the lights were sort of amber tinged, and I sometimes describe it as it's all the straight lines had turned to zigzags. But on my way home, I started wondering how wonderful it would be to actually be a time-traveling astronomer to watch the trajectory of the asteroid coming down. And then I wondered, well, actually, what would happen if you couldn't find it? Under those circumstances, what does that mean for the dinosaurs? And what does that mean for human evolution? And so that was very much the origin point of the story. And that's where I started from with it.
And you've got a humor streak in your...
I hope so.
Definitely so. There's some real...
That's good.
You can read it, because I just finished... right now the audiobook has been recorded, so I'm going through and QCing the audiobook and making sure it's exactly per the story. And so I read way fast, so I have to listen to it in real time, 1.0. I can't speed it up. Mm-hmm. And I found myself chuckling multiple times throughout your story. I was like, it's very fun. It's like you're I guess maybe it's your own, I guess, your lifestyle in where you live. Some of it comes through because I get, I feel like I have a better understanding of what you're like from reading your main protagonist, what he has to go through and how he deals with stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's an element to that. I mean, I think kind of every writer brings a little bit of themselves to anything they ever write. And yeah, the guy in the protagonist, it's not always the case, but this particular protagonist does share some of my outlooks on life. I'm made up. You found it funny. That's obviously the intention. Obviously, lots of the books behind me are Terry Pratchett books, who's a big hero. The fact that it's Right to the Future 42 with all the Douglas Adams connections is particularly wonderful for me. I'm really kind of made up about that. So yeah, I'm just really pleased that the humour has come through, and that and that, that people did find the things I thought funny to be funny as well.
I can't wait to read it.
So obviously it was liked.
Yeah, well, I like. To me, there's no real sci-fi if there's not comedy in it. it's one of the reasons I had a problem when they redid Battlestar Galactica, because it was just too. Just wasn't nobody laughing. I've been in dangerous places before, and every now and then somebody's going to just crack a joke, and I guess I just missed that. It doesn't matter to me as long as there's some kind of laugh. It can be even dark sci-fi, as long as somebody in there throws in a good joke every once in a while. I'm good. I can read all day long, but I guess if it's too serious, I'm like, well, not reading it. I guess it's one of those personal.
It's not real. It's just unreal.
I think everything needs a little bit of humor. I mean, I was watching Hail Mary last night, and that was very funny as well as being a really good film. So.
Yeah, that's a film I'm looking forward to watch.
Yeah, I'll be glad, 'cause I'll get the book from John pretty soon, so I'll get to catch up on all y'all and see what's going on.
Yeah, when we have the show, I'm making myself a note just to send you the ebook straight away, and then we'll.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can do that because
yeah.
I got a pad somewhere around here. I know there's one around here somewhere. It's so science and sci-fi and fantasy. You ever do any near now sci-fi? Yes, everybody this
much. Very occasional. I don't mind dabbling a little bit with crime fiction, but not really very often. Generally speaking, what happens if I'm doing any crime fiction, it is woven into something with a sci-fi or magical basis. So, it's very rare for me to write something straight. I get such little time to write sometimes that it's kind of, I've really got to focus on stuff I really love to do. And
I can understand that.
That is, I've got other stuff I'd like to write with more time, but generally speaking, the projects that excite me are stuff with that have that edge of the fantastical.
Well, it just makes it more fun. Also, I think it opens up a bigger audience too.
So yeah, I mean,
people need a good escape. It's always fun to read something that takes you into another land or just put you somewhere that you're only thinking about the story you're reading and nothing else. It's always a nice thing to have. That's why we appreciate good authors.
I mean, my hero Terry Pratchett he said about writing fantasy and science fiction it was like kind of normally when you've got anything, you're calling in with your colored pens. But when it's fantasy and science fiction, you've got like the gold and silver felt tip pen as well, which nobody else has. And that's very much how I sort of see it as well. It's like you can just add extra sparkle to everything. You can write, and I think Asimov said something about being able to you can sci-fi in particular, it's not just, it's not necessarily its own genre. For example, you can do crime fiction and you can do suspense. It's more like a whole world building, a background, a template for everything. Kind of sci-fi and fantasy, to perhaps a lesser extent, seems to incorporate everything. And I think that's one of the things that makes it so compelling.
Yeah,
I think we just got a review because I sent the book out for reviews, various reviewers, and I got from Tangent Online. And are you curious what they have to say about the Triceratops effect?
Very.
Okay, good. So the Triceratops effect by S.J. Stevenson also deals with the inescapable destructiveness of humankind, but situates it within a satirical twist on the extinction of the dinosaurs. Its wisecracking protagonist is a workaday average guy time traveler who hates his boss and his job. He rattles off an unending stream of jokes and witticisms, a few of which are memorably clever, although his shtick is occasionally overdone and annoying. The protagonist's co-workers are interesting, and the ending is poignant. Recommended. So this is so your story is recommended. This is I thought it was really fun, but they really got the wisecracking protagonist is a workaday average guy. That's what I was, I figured I have a window into the life and times of S.J. Stevenson as and so I mean the one thing you're talking about too, because that's the same thing, that would probably be a similar review to some of the books you've got behind you there, with any of those guys that write the satire. If you like satire, yours wasn't too much. If you're not into satire, then sometimes people have a hard time with it because it sometimes makes you look at truths that you don't want to look at. You'd rather just go ahead with the with your facade of what you see out there. You see that a lot here. I mean, you can see it. Like I said, we're not going to go political, but you see it also just how the social media is just like everything's glossed over, so people aren't really looking at what's really happening. They just kind of like they have their talking point and they just stick to that. They don't bother looking. They just stick with that. So you definitely rub people's noses in the destructiveness, and the fact that these people are doing their game hunting. You see that in Africa, the destruction of wildlife and games and different species. It's amazing. Nothing's more constructive, nothing's more destructive than humankind.
Yeah. Somewhere between the fallen angel and the rising ape, I think we've been described as, which I think I always find a very, very potent description.
Say what now?
Somewhere between the fallen angel and the rising ape, which I always think is quite a potent description of us.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good one. It's we've got I mean, we are a brilliant species, but we're kind of goofy too. It's unfortunate.
Kind of.
Well, I'm being polite, but if it was on the Friday night show, I would have actually said what I meant, but not here. It's I do politics on Friday, and then I do 5 different shows a week, so it gets a little crazy. But I enjoy this show because I get to meet all of you, and I get to meet a lot of the illustrators, and I get to see a lot of good stories. I mean, I have a busy, crazy life, even though I'm supposed to be retired, and that doesn't seem to be that way.
You're still a pup, man.
Oh man. I sold my construction company January 4 last. And I said, okay, I'm going to take it easy. Don't lie to yourself. When you get ready to retire, I'm just not good at sitting still is what the problem is. But getting back to what we're talking about, I get to see so many good stories. And it's fun for me because, I work with John with Writers of the Future, and then the network's pretty big and we're all over the place. And we have a lot of other authors coming in from a lot of other different sources. And there's so many good stories out there. And it's just nice because I like to distract. But my personal today, I prefer audiobooks because I don't have the free time like I used to. Mm-hmm. So, when I'm working on the computers or driving, I can pop in an audiobook and listen. And then John got me hooked on all the bells and whistles with Battlefield Earth and Mission Earth. It's 44 hours of audio. It's insane is what it is. But it's a lot of fun to listen to. And we play it on the holidays so everybody can, 8 hours a day. 5 days a week and say, all right, y'all have a good time. And then I'll get somebody right to me. Can you play it again? I missed that day. I'm like, nope. Moving on, buddy. Moving on. But any kind of sci-fi I like. I mean, I like sci-fi closer to the time period I'm living in, 100, 200, 300 years. But it doesn't really matter. If it's really good sci-fi or really good fantasy, I'm going to like it. I think I grew up on first, it was like fantasy world with dragons and vampires and just stories of the ancient worlds. And then, of course, Star Trek came along and, you caught all that in reruns because I was too young to watch it the first time around. But I caught it in reruns. So that gave me a real healthy. And then, of course, there was all of those, what's his name? Did like Lost in Space and
Billy Mummy?
No, the guy, the producer, writer. He did Land of Giants. He did all kind of weird sci-fi. I don't know why I can't think of his name, but he had at least 5 or 6 series running at the same time. So he's a pretty good writer. I didn't always think everything was good. I mean, let's be honest, Danger Will one of it's just goofy. No, Clara, the new one's not goofy. The new one's a little more. Let's just say that the robot in the new one is badass and leave it at that. I mean, it is, but compared to the old guy.
So, Sean, you're heading out here, in a week and a half? You're coming out next 2 Thursdays from now.
That's right, yeah. So, yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, man, how long is the flight?
So,
it's a 9-hour flight?
Yeah, 9-hour flight. So, yeah.
Any stopovers or just hop on and go, huh?
You're heading from Heathrow?
Yeah, so...
so it's a direct flight to LA then?
Well, I have to come from Manchester first, which is further up north. So,
so Manchester to Heathrow, then Heathrow to LA.
Exactly that, yeah. So it's going to be a long day, I think. But
oh yeah,
that's why I fly you in a day early, so you can kind of like.
Thank you.
We learned that the hard way. It was like that's not worth it.
I can tell you what, you're going to have a blast, man. Everybody who works there are fabulous. All the people at Author Services are fabulous, and all the judges I have met so far are fabulous. They go out of their way to make sure that not only you're having a little fun, but you're actually coming away smarter than you were when you got there. And it's not just teaching you skills of being an author; it's also teaching you skills of being a businessman. So there's just a wealth of information that crosses through there, and it was fun because I didn't know who these guys were 7 years ago or 6, whenever it was in the COVID, And this is my 7th group of y'all that I'll be working with, but 6 years, I think. But anyway, it's just so much information. I didn't even realize, and I thought I knew a lot about authors until I started hanging out with these guys. I was ignorant. That's the only way I can say it. And I probably had 600-700 authors under my belt by then. And I mean, just for these guys, I got over 300. I got the winners for these years, which is 84, 160 something, plus all the ones we do besides that for other past authors. And so it's about 350 interviews with them now. And then all the other ones I've done in the past. But when you're there, like when I'm sitting there listening to Tim Powers and Jody Lanai, I mean, I'm just learning stuff that I didn't even think about.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to write. And I got to say now, at least I have a shot because I've learned a lot from these guys. I like the 24-hour story. I love that. That's great. That's always a lot of fun.
Looking forward to that very much.
It's good.
I mean, it's a lot of fun.
You missed the Oscars by 2 weeks, which was insane here because they shut down because right behind me is Hollywood Boulevard. So that's the Walk of Fame and all that stuff. And you'll be staying at a hotel, the Roosevelt Hotel, very famous hotel in Hollywood. That's where you'll be staying.
I'm very excited about that. I can tell you.
Yeah.
It's a fun hotel.
And then you'll be able to, you know, there's right across the street from you is where the Oscars were held. And hopefully, you know, I mean, you'll look and go, oh, I hope they have some premieres, but hope there's not because it's just such a pain when they shut down the premieres.
I know one year we were at the Lowe's when they had that big country concert and that basketball game coming down.
Yeah.
The hotel was packed. I mean, it was
Anyway, so it's good. We like it when we just do this. You know, we have our thing on it. But we did so excited. It's got card, you know. Well, first of all, did you read Fear, that book?
I did, yes. Yeah, enjoyed it very much. So I was on a train journey to York, so I had this solid opportunity to actually sit down and read, which is it's a nice
pace.
So, yeah, got through it in about a day, which is quite rare for me these days. So.
Yeah, that's Tim's favorite Hubbard story is Fear, so he uses that for the various exercises. And you refreshed yourself up on the online workshop.
I'm doing it again now. So
yeah, because there's 3 new videos that we put up since last year.
Oh, right.
We have one with Kevin Anderson, Nadia Corafor, and Rob Sawyer. So those are new videos since if you did the online course more than a year ago, then these are 3 new videos.
Is really good. Is Scott coming this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you said so. Okay.
Yeah, he's coming. So he's looking forward to it.
I love him. He's one of my favorites.
He narrated part of the bio for his story. He wrote the short story for the cover art for the volume 42. Yeah, so part of the intro, it was his voice that he wanted to narrate it, so he narrated that. It's an amazing audiobook. We got the guy that's producing it is a 2-time Grammy award-winning producer of audiobooks, Stefan Rudnicki, and so it's an amazing audiobook. There's 9 different voices in there doing the different stories, and there's a British narrator doing your story, so it has the proper accent.
Oh, you mean okay, Arthur? I'm really looking forward to hearing it.
No, they're really, really good. So I'm about halfway through. I got to finish it by tomorrow so that I can go on to final approval and get it distributed so we have it in time for the release.
The whole place over there is really good. You're gonna have a lot of fun there. It is nonstop. I'm not gonna lie. It's like a little whirlwind going on.
Yeah.
It's first time I went I caught him coming back from COVID, so there was a double year. I was like, Jesus, if he hadn't even broke a sweat, I was exhausted, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I was exhausted.
I like to be busy, so that'll be good. So
I do too. It's a good thing, and it's just it's really weird because everybody is really nice, really friendly. They really go out of their way to make sure that you come away enjoying yourself and learning something, which personally I really appreciate. There's not many contests like that on the planet these days, but it's nice to see. And then, as far as I know, there's no questions off limits. So I've watched some. I've seen some really good questions, and I'm seeing some like, oh, I'm leaving now. I'm going to go get a break while they discuss this question. But I mean, they're intense, and all the teachers are good. I mean, almost everybody there has some kind of famous book to their credit or a movie to their credit.
Yeah.
And when you get into the illustrators, they're all fabulous people. all of them, have done well for themselves. I got some favorites, but I can't say their names.
Yeah.
Still, Tom, Echo.
So what are you most looking forward to coming out here? Or if you have a most?
It seems to change by the day, to be honest, John. Some days it's it's looking forward to meeting the illustration, seeing the illustration. Some days it's the 24-hour story. Sometimes it's the ceremony itself. And a lot of the time it's just the opportunity to get to speak to these kind of absolute icons of the genre. So mind is blown really. It's kind of it depends on the time of the day and the day of the week, I think.
Oops.
It'll be a lot of fun. It's very intense. And it's one of those things like, do I really have to sleep? Do I really have to sleep? And what's good is that the lounge / bar is open till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So the last time we were there, which is part of why we left, was they closed it down at 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, threw us out, man.
Which was just a bummer. So now they got new management and said, no, we're up till either 2 or 3 o'clock. So for the LobbyCon / BarCon is there, and
it's
important. Judges like it, and that's where you can meet other writers, and you just get to become best of friends.
It is probably as important as everything else there because, first off, all the judges are relaxed. They're sitting down. Most of them don't drink, and every now and then you might see somebody have a cocktail, but for the most part, they're eating or drinking Cokes, and they're sitting around talking to each other. And they'll get the groups. I've seen a bunch of them. Like Kevin likes to go to lunch with everybody. He always takes an entourage lunch with him for some reason. I don't know. But I mean, they're really there for you. So, and I tell this to everybody every year. If you standing around and you see a judge that you want to talk to him for some reason, you feel nervous or something, just tap me on the shoulder. Say, hey, Joe, I'll walk right over and introduce you. I know all of them. So they already know I'm a pain in the you-know-what anyway. So, so they won't even mind. They'll be like, okay. And I got to tell you, man, all of them. And I was pretty hard on my first year there because I was there for an alternative reason, but all of them turned out.
He was trying to investigate and find what was the real story behind this.
And John knows I was not a nice person. I'm not gonna lie, and I took.
I can vouch for that.
Yes, I went down some dark places, and let me tell you what, everyone I talked to told me exactly what he told me. All the judges, and I knew they all had different backgrounds and different religions and different beliefs and everything, and they were just different people in general, and they all pretty much told me the same thing when I talked to them. So when I got there and was meeting everybody face to face and walking around, it was carte blanche, and it doesn't matter who I asked, they answered immediately. So like when I was over to Office Services harassing the girls over there and Jason and them and a few others, they were really good about answering questions. So by the time I was done and headed home, I was exhausted, but I was really convinced that these people might be in the up and up. When I came back to next year, there was no doubt in my mind that they were here for the right reasons. So I've been a big advocate of theirs now. I mean, I do a lot of lectures and I do a lot of even events for other things besides this. And almost always somebody asks me about Writers of the Future at the end. And I enjoy it. I mean, they're really good people. Frankly, they're so nice sometimes it scares the hell out of me. I'm just waiting, man. When a horror movie kind of thing.
He still comes up and he rubs my head around to see if there's any horns there.
But there are. I mean, I don't want to tell you that they are a great group of people, and that was one of the biggest pleasant surprises in probably decades for me. Because most of the time, I got to be honest. Most of the time, I give people enough rope to hang themselves, and they generally. So it's because we get asked. I mean, we're a big station these days, and we're around. I mean, this show right now is in 160 countries. We're going to broadcast to more than 4 million people here today, and wow. And it's not even my biggest show. It's the point is so we got weight. And it's not even that they don't really need our help, but overseas we're all over the place. So you get little drops and mentions here. Matter of fact, I was talking to a friend of mine in Germany the other day, and she said, "I heard about it a roundabout way." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, I was listening to something y'all were doing, and I was some book place." And I noticed that there was a little, what do you call them things? Not a bookmark, but it kind of looks like a bookmark, but it's fatter. But anyway, they had one there with Writers of the Future on it, courtesy of United Public Radio. Don't ask me. I didn't put it there.
That's cool. That's very cool.
I'm kind of wondering how I got there. But, I mean, we see stuff like that. And I like meeting the overseas people. I like knowing where my relatives came from. And I got a lot of relatives from your neck of the woods, too. Well, I shouldn't say neck of the woods. We'll just say somewhere in England, Irish, Scottish, Irish, and Welsh. So kind of like a little mud on the island or something. That's half my ancestry though. The other half is or the other, not quite half is Italian. So it's just
I suppose there's a bit of a clue on that one, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting though, and I got a lot of friends. I mean, we do really well. A couple of the shows I host, I do really well over in the evening times, and which was surprising because we host a show called "You Off on the Cover." One of its biggest audiences in London, and guys, it don't come on till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Blimey.
Yeah, I know it cracks me up. The fact that people stand up and listening to it, kind of like, well, that's flattering in itself. But you're going to find
we got 3 more people coming on, right?
That I just sent. We got 3 actually. I just sent Mike interviews. Yeah, I just sent Mike his interview just a minute. I mean, about 5 minutes ago. So if I don't see him, I'll hit him again. It's but you're gonna really.
Mike and I have actually reached out to each other. We're exchanging some emails. He was emailing me before just to say he was on next. So kind of.
I just sent him. I mean, if I don't, like I said, if you don't pop in the next minute, I'll send it again. Sometimes
you're welcome to stay on too. Like we can populate if you want to stay. You're totally welcome to stay. It's a 2-hour show overall, so we can keep on.
What is it, like 9:30 at your house or something?
I'll stay and say hi to Mike for a little bit, but I'll leave him after that to kind of have his conversation and stuff. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to just having a chance to say hi to him.
Okay.
He has to get back to writing his next novel.
Okay, he said he didn't receive it, so let's send it again.
It puts me to shame when he tells me everything he's getting through, and I'm thinking, oh God, I've got to pull my finger out. So.
All right.
So then your day job is you really are like you work for social service at UK?
No, civil service generally.
Civil service.
Yeah. So I
oh, bless you, man.
Spreadsheets a lot of the time, or I used to. These days, I ask people to fiddle the spreadsheets for me, but so which is a shame, really, because the fun of it is actually making the things work. But even though I usually break them, but never mind.
My partner and I, when we did construction, we used to break stuff all the time. We always knew how to. We always ended up fixing it. So he used to call it blanking up in reverse, but because we'd mess it up, but then of course eventually we'd have to fix it. Well, I shouldn't say that on air.
Breaking stuff is how you learn how. When you learn how to fix it, you learn how to do things better. So I have a philosophy of trying to break stuff because then I have a better understanding of it afterwards.
Yeah. So how deep were you able to get on spreadsheets? How many layers?
I'm pretty good. I kind of.
I'm awful. I can do your basic one, and but to try to get one and then take one spreadsheet and have that total and go into another spreadsheet as part of another total with multiple spreadsheets and then have that be put.
I bought a program for that. That's how much I hated it.
No, we got people in our finance office. They do the spreadsheets for the balance sheets and for the audits and stuff like that. It's like I look at that and go like, oh man.
Hey Mike, it's Mike looking good too. So I like when we have these good looking years, man. I like we have good looking years and chatty years because it's weird. Crowds are different every year. You never know. So some groups are much more quiet. Some groups are much more chatty. And I look, the chattier the better for me. To be honest, that makes my job way easier. I gotta sit and watch.
That's a cool shirt you got there, Mike.
Mike, can you hear us? I don't think you can hear us, so we can't hear him. What's up? No, I don't hear him.
Now it shows his microphone's on.
Yeah, he's live with us. Okay, what is this new thing? Let me pop back in.
Yeah,
it says device is not connected to it. Sometimes you got to go back in and out if when you set it. Yeah, computers are weird. Usually we use StreamYard because it is pretty easy, but it can glitch just like anything else. It is, after all, on the internet.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of my life on Teams, and kind of Teams is always breaking on me, usually when I'm midway through saying something I really want to express.
Yeah, you got to love that kind of stuff, though. You just got to love it.
People are deliberately messing up Teams.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Oh, now we hear you.
There we go.
Yeah. So John wanted to make sure he's able to see you and
say hello.
Say hello over the the ether.
Looking forward to hanging out.
Yeah, very much. So obviously we've shared some emails, haven't we? So it was, we've read cover each other's stories. So yeah, it's you're the only one I really know so far, Mike. So
good. Well, that will change soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, y'all gonna get to meet a lot of people. That's why we started doing these a year ago, so that people can get to know each other before they get there. It's just an extra bonus. So you at least know some of the people when you're getting there to talk to them. It's I got to say, I watch every year. Everybody makes friends with everybody, different groups, different there. There's always a little group here, a little group there running around. It's fun to watch, and like I was telling Sean a minute ago, if you're downstairs in the lobby where BarCon is and you see a judge you want to talk to but don't want to approach him, let me know. I'll walk right over to introduce you. I do a lot of introductions every year. It's part of the fun of doing the job, actually. I personally enjoy it. But so what's got you writing? I mean, how long have you been writing? First, I should have asked you that too.
I'll give you your sort of turn there, Mike. Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, and I'll see you in a week and a half, Sean.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing you all in person. Oh, I need to know. Okay, bye, everybody.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, see you soon, Sean. So Joe, what got me writing? Well, I'm going to give you the old cliche that I've been writing most of my life. The farthest back I think of anything notable where I actually shared with people was I wrote a play for a neighborhood Halloween play that I put on, and that was kind of the start. And I went on, when I was in the Navy, I wrote some serialized stories featuring my fellow shipmates, both as heroes and villains. Started publishing some short stories, and then I went to film school and at USC right there in LA, and tried my hand at screenwriting. Kind of gave it my best shot to break in, and that didn't pan out. So then I had a long career, and just a couple years ago decided to recommit to my creative writing, and went to grad school to get a master's degree and won this amazing contest. Yeah. So I'm on my way, I guess. Finally.
Indeed you are. Indeed you are. One of the things that we do is we'll work with you. You're going to come out and you're going to have the week-long workshop, and you have an amazing event and meet some incredible people. But unlike other events or workshops or organizations, we still continue to work with you. And as you progress in your career and publish your first novel, you'll be a guest on the podcast. We'll have you back onto the author's Quill. This year, you'll be we will make sure you have pro passes to Dragon Con, if you want to attend that, or to FanX in Salt Lake City. We can get you in there as a pro to get you started, because they recognize you as a pro right now with this. You need to keep on writing to keep on getting back, but every time you come back, you'll have a space at our booth to sign your books without having to buy your own booth. So that's one of the things that we do to help support that. And we have winners going back 40 years now that will come in, and we invite them and we get them onto the shows. We have them, give them a space to sign their books. They bring their books and you sell them, and you keep 100%. You pay your taxes and stuff, but we don't charge you anything. We just give you a space to be able to, sign your books.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Hopefully I will have something to sell. But yeah, I was aware of that just from listening to the Rise of Future podcast, which I've listened to a bunch of those last week. And just so happens that Dragon Con this year, if I happen to go this year, it falls on my birthday. And
cool.
I'll put it this way: it's a birthday that is divisible by 10, so it's kind of a big deal.
I know those birthdays, man, so I feel you paid.
Yeah, so we'll see if I attend or not. We'll see.
It's hopefully I'll be in Atlanta this year myself. I mean, I live on the coast. I'm not but 4 or 5 hours away if I drive. It's I got family up there too, which is nice. But I always like catching up with John. But the last 2 years, for some reason, something had to come up both times. It's kind of like, okay. Hopefully it'll be a nice, peaceful fall this year, and I can head up that way. It's nice up there. I don't even usually stay at those. I usually go stay at the Hilton, and It's a nice hotel. It's right down the street. It's what's really nice about it there is Uber takes you everywhere, pick you up on the side of the street. I love that. Like, he said, I said, where I got to walk to? The guy said, you ain't got to walk nowhere. You stay right there. I'll find you by GPS. Sure enough, man, boop, there he was. I was like, all right. Because there's a lot of hills to walk up and down. Like, yeah, people, if you're in Atlanta is not flat. I always tell people this. It's like, if you're going to go to Dragon Con, I recommend that you, about 2 months ahead of time, maybe 3 months ahead of time, you start walking a little bit. Because it's a marathon. It's 5 hotels. And it's 4 hotels in the convention center and hills in between every one of them. So you up and down, and then lots of lines to stand in, big, long ones. I mean, like 2 blocks long. They move fast, by the way, people. They're big, but they do move fast. But just, pace yourself. It's 24 hours, by the way. It's not just, it doesn't just cut off at 8 o'clock. It's 24 hours a day. It's insanity is what it is. So it's a lot of fun, but when you're out in LA is great. I mean, we have a good time out there. And
have you been to LA before, Sean?
Yeah, you went to school.
Mike, have you been to LA before?
Yeah, I grew up in San Diego, so
okay.
By virtue of that, I've been to LA plenty, and then I went to school at USC there.
Did you go to boot in San Diego? That's where I went to boot camp in San Diego.
No, strangely, I was living in San Diego, but they sent me to Great Lakes. So.
Of course, they sent you to Great Lakes. Why would they not torture you?
Right, in the middle of winter, no less. So.
I had asked to go to Orlando. They sent me to San Diego. I wanted to go with the girls, but they said no. Because down there you got girl companies in Orlando. That's where the waves go. But no, I had a good time in San Diego. I mean, I did my time out there. Yeah. And then I went to tech school in Tennessee, but I was on the Nimitz. So
nice.
That's what I was doing while I was in there. Thanks for your service, man. Because I know just going through boot camp's a pain in the ass as it is. Speaking of that, I want to ask you this because I noticed when I was going through boot that there were several guys in our company that were writing as like therapy to put them to sleep or to clear their brain or to let them concentrate. Because boot camp's intense. So did you do any writing while you were in boot camp, or just had your brain on the job?
Not in boot camp specifically, because they were, as you may recall, pretty strict about you have these particular items and nothing else. Everything else is considered contraband. So
yes, they did.
Not in boot camp specifically. No.
Gene, that is a true story. They did make us learn how to iron clothes with the UCMJ. The book's about this thick. It's just and they just showed you how to iron. I'm not kidding you. I think I'm playing with you. I'm not. Just they were funny. The Navy was a weird place, is all I can tell you. And I got one of the longer boot camps, so it was 12 weeks, I believe, instead of 8. We caught something they were trying new.
I had 7 weeks because during that 8-week period, I had 1 week in the hospital with chicken pox, which I caught during boot camp. So that was pleasant. Yes.
Yeah, that must have
not.
It's cool that you write about people you knew when you were in there and stuff. That's because I would have been infamous. So if you'd known me, you would have had to write me as infamous. I would have been no other way to write me in there. It's but it is cool that you do that. So what is you? I mean, you got a particular favorite genre? Or you cross in between, or?
I always dread that question because I do like to write a lot of different things.
That's cool.
I've written science fiction, fantasy, horror. If I pin myself down, I really lean back on the speculative fiction label because it's kind of all encompassing. And I really tend to prefer stories that are in like current or near future, but with speculative elements. That's kind of like my sweet spot, I would say.
Oh, that's cool. Huh? See, I like people who like to write multiple things because I think you bring something to the stories from writing other ways. When you get set in just one genre, sometimes it kind of gets, how can I say this where I get myself in trouble? Repetitive. The stories have a lot of similarities as they're going along instead of having a fresh new take on something.
Now, Mike's got a story. It's called "As Long as You Both Shall Live," and which is a very interesting story. How did you come up? First of all, give a little bit of a explanation of what the story is, and then we'll get into like where the idea came from.
Yeah, I have to be careful when I kind of give a real quick elevator pitch because to avoid spoilers, but essentially it's kind of targeted towards people who might like Black Mirror or Upload, but it's kind of a cyberpunk love story in which this man kind of falls for this woman. They're both in this clinical trial with this company testing out this technology whereby people's consciousnesses can go into virtual reality while their bodies are used for almost like automatons driven by AI, while their minds are kind of like basically over here. So the story kind of really kicks off when something happens to one of the physical bodies while this person's mind is in virtual reality. And I'll let you read the story to find out what happens next.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting you said that, because I have something else I do, a research group I work with. And believe it or not, what you were saying is something they were talking about in real time. So we do already know, like the F-22, you can fly. There's certain models that don't have a joystick in them. It's a helmet they put on you and you fly it that way. It's basically telepathy is what it is. Air Force and Navy in the early 2000s started looking actually physically, on air, looking for people who may have been telepaths. They actually came out and said this, which floored me. I knew about the remote viewing programs, but I never knew that the Navy and Air Force were looking. But they had realized that if you can fly a plane without the joystick, your reaction time is so much faster than the guy who have to use a joystick that they're dead before they think about it. You think about it, they grab the stick, they're dead. It's over with. So it's one of the things, but we had heard about other remote vehicles since then. So it's interesting that you're writing about that. It kind of like melds together, man. It's really cool. I have to talk to you in there, because there was some very interesting ones. You might like them, if something you could use in the future or something. I don't mind sharing it. I don't think any of it's classified or anything. So but it's weird how stories can reflect real time.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I did pretty much no research for this story, because I wrote it the day before the deadline for the quarter in which
that's pretty cool how you did that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like had this idea. I woke up with an idea from a dream and kind of started writing, and just kind of all flowed out. So
that's
not really much research there.
That's excellent. No, there's always going to be some kind of weirdnesses out there, but well, good. You shouldn't have no problem with the 24-hour story. Then you pop that fuck out like it's nothing. Yeah, it is. It's fun to watch, because especially now that's going to be at the Roosevelt this year, so I can sit up in the mezzanine and watch the lobby, because Tim Powers always talks me into getting pictures of everybody when they're writing the story. And some of the expressions on people's faces is priceless. I've talked to people who have sat down and wrote the story in like 2 hours and were done. Some took longer. Some were waking up at 6 a.m. to write the story for 8. It's I can imagine. Yeah, it's just one of them things. If you think about it too much, it's going to come back to haunt you somewhere down the line. So,
what's interesting on that whole thing with the 24-hour story is, I remember earlier on, it was such it came across such a painful experience for writers. But now, as the quality of writers continue to improve, you as a winner, you're one of 12 out of many thousands of people that submitted stories. So you really are in that very elite level of writers. So the fact that, you say, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing the 24-hour story, and you'll probably hit it out of the park. And most people will take that 24-hour story and they'll clean it up and they'll sell it. Almost everybody ends up selling the 24-hour story, because it's something that, like what you just experienced, you wrote a 24-hour story that you won with, basically, and it's but the tools you'll be given that you can then create this with the random object and meeting a stranger, these things coming together to be able to do that, it kind of like gets you out of being the effect of brain freeze on writing, so the writer's block, you can then be caused over that, by doing these things here, and just like, okay, good, so boom, boom, put it together and there's your story. And some of the writers, when they become, like you talk about any of like Scott Card, Tim Powers, Kevin Anderson. These guys are high production writers, and they don't have time for the writer's block, to deal with that. They just, it's their job, it's their business, they're professionals, and they definitely do their work, So it's really good seeing. But the quality of writer and the people that are doing it, they're much more focused because you have so much more competition now than you used to have. Yeah. So I really, you've heard about Mike's and Sean's. They've talked about their stories. We definitely encourage you to go here. You can go to, this is at galaxypress.com. You can go there and pre-order Rise of the Future Volume 42. We have the print book, the ebook, and the audio book. They're all amazing. But I really, if you're a fan of Writers of the Future, and you've listened or read, previous copies, please pre-order them now so that when the book releases officially at the end of April, that these authors like Mike will then automatically be a best-selling author, because we'll come up at the top of anthologies or science fiction when the book releases. And it really makes it a lot easier for them as they come out with further books, further writings, further short stories, to be able to have that to their bio, saying that they're a best-selling author, award-winning, best-selling, and it just makes it a lot easier for them to launch their career. Because I had been saying up until a few months ago, over 3 million books published a year. Well, the new data that just came out from Bowker is that's now over 4 million books in 2025 were published. So it's crazy how many books are coming out in a year, 4 million. So giving that, what do you do to make somebody, make their voice stand out above everybody else's? Well, Rise of the Future is almost second to none in terms of what it can do to help shout from the rafters, the names of these 12 writers and 12 artists, that you need to pay attention to them. They've got what you're looking for. These are the best new voices for 2026 that you need to check out and listen to. So that's what makes it, such an important thing. So guaranteed you're going to find something there that you're going to love, or many somethings. And each year, I'm always amazed that these stories are so clever. It's like, how'd they think that? I say it almost every interview, like, how'd they think that? Your story, there's Mike, how do you think that? And Sean and all these, how do you think those things? They're just so clever. And it's not like it's a whole new, storyline. It's just like your take on it is just so unique and so clever, which is why you won the contest. Because you're judged. I have no idea who the winners are until they get sent to me, from the judges. So, all they have is a number, in the story. So they don't know if you're male, female, nationality, ethnic, anything, your age. It's just like the story. And so then when it comes back saying, okay, number, 826, and okay, now that's Mike Strickland. Prior to that point, we had no idea who it was or where you're from, which makes the contest really cool. And that's why it continues to grow every year. It gets more and more and more every year.
Yeah, no, I didn't know what my number was, because that's my new lucky number, right?
It definitely is a lucky number.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're via any of our social media pages, I just posted the link. So it's on all the Rumble pages, the YouTube pages, the Facebook pages. You can find it there. And when we get through today, I'll pop it over on the UPR Insights. You can find it there as well.
That'd be great. Thank you, Joe.
Now, I want y'all to make money, man. I want to see y'all. I tell this people all the time. Somebody asked me the other day, well, I still do this. I said, well, sooner or later, one of these guys are going to be at a red carpet. I'm going to be calling in a face. I'm not even saying live me on the red carpet with you.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it because it's one, I like a good sci-fi story of pretty much any kind. I mean, I do prefer near now science, but I do it didn't really matter. I mean, I'm just a big sci-fi fan, fantasy fan as well. There's a couple other things in there I probably like as well. But so you meet a lot of interesting people, a lot of interesting backgrounds. I'm surprised how many authors are actually ex-military. I've been pleasantly surprised by that. I've also been surprised by how many interrogators turned out to be authors. I think we've met 4 in this show so far, and so it's almost
a good
like
way to
therapy.
decompress.
Yes, it is. It's like therapy for them. So it's kind of interesting. But I don't know if that's something that helps kick people off serving in the service or what. But there seems to be a lot. I mean, then I meet what I'd call your standard little geeky nerd, which is a lot of fun as well. And because technically I'm a nerd at heart, but I'm not supposed to say that though. But I mean, everybody there is going to go out of the way to be nice to you. They're going to really want you to come away with way more than you went there with, which is really nice. They want to see you succeed. Everybody who's there wants to see you succeed, and it's actually legit. It's not like somebody's faking it or holding. And I would think as long as they would be doing this, that you might see a little of that. But you don't. They're the same enthusiasm for the 7 years I've been hanging out with these guys. 6 years I've been hanging with. It's the same amount of enthusiastic every year.
Yeah,
I'm flipping amazed that they can do that because it's a lot of work. I mean, I've watched them. They're, it's nonstop for them, and nobody sleeps for that week at all. So not y'all, not us, not anybody. I think I average about 3 hours a night while I'm there, but I know eventually I'll get to go back to sleep. But it's a lot of fun. You'll probably be tired when you're done, but you're going to learn a lot. You're going to get to meet a lot of interesting people. The afternoons and the evenings and downstairs are always great because sooner or later, every judge there will be downstairs, and they're just going to come sit down. Tim Powsley sit down, get a Coke with his wife, and he'll entertain anybody who wants to talk to him while he's there. Pretty much all of the judges are like that. Scott likes to talk, so if you just ask him a question, he'll tell you. He'll just answer your questions, and he's always a wealth full of information. Jody still has the highest rating of any judge on this network that's been on this network. She's still whooping them all, and it's just everybody that's real good. And it's the same with the illustrators. It's just really good people. And they took their time to bring in judges that actually, how can I say this, care, about y'all and themselves. It's crazy to watch. I really didn't think there was going to be this level of involvement with the group when I met them. Because I've been to a lot of conferences and concerts and things like these and contests, and usually it's never exactly what it's advertised. These guys, it's more than what they advertise, which I find interesting in itself. What, Jack? Oh, no, y'all know. Well, anybody who's known us since John's been on the network knows what he had to go through. Yes, I apologize. I apologize for it. It's, I'm always a little skeptical about everything. So it's the reason I haven't gotten in as much trouble as I could have. But Mike, you will really have a good time. And like I said, don't hesitate for any reason. If you feel like a judge is unapproachable, just tap me and say, hey, Joe, and I'll walk you right over and introduce you. I have never met a judge yet there that did not want to be bothered, which also floors me, by the way. I would think even they might get more aggravated after a while, but they don't.
Yeah, one fun thing we have is on Tuesday night, we have the barbecue, and that's all the judges will be there by then, and all the winners and some of the special guests. And then it's just everybody's together, and you'll sit with the judges and an opportunity just to chill and chat. And then when the dinner's over, then we do a live theater show. We have radio theater. We have various actors. Some of the judges, that's their favorite part of the whole week is coming to the live, radio show that we do.
It's a lot of fun. It really is. I always try to make sure I catch it. So, and then they always sneak in other little events here and there too. So you got to watch them. There's always something going on.
Yeah.
But I really do. For me, watching the judges with all the winners is amazing to me because, frankly, I mean, these are famous people. Famous people tend to be, how can we say this politely? What's the word I'm looking for? Eccentric. Thank you.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it out for some reason. But these guys and girls, I shouldn't say just these guys, but everybody just really wants to help you. They want to see you come away. And like I was telling Sean, I mean, it's not just about learning how to be a better author, but to be a better businessman. So as you become a more famous author and you're making more money, you know what to do with it and how to control it, where you should be, things like what's a corporation, what's an S corp, things like that. What form of protection should you have for yourself as you become an author and start putting public stuff into the works? Because something people don't think about, books, just like radio shows, can get you in trouble. It's so they always is limited liability is always the best way to go when you're a beginner, but because it keeps you protected. But still, it's interesting that they even talk about stuff like that. And then what they teach you about being a better author is, I have personally, because I'm ignorant when it comes to authors, but I have learned so much from listening to these guys, because a lot of times I'll sit into the class just to watch the reactions, or I'll be driving and believe a crazy taking pictures of everybody following her around. I liked it when she's working pictures because I can stand behind her and take pictures over her head.
You haven't met Maliva yet. She's the one that's doing a lot of the photos that documents the whole event.
She's scary, man. Stay away from her, man. Just stay away from her. She's scary.
So none of our staff are scary, Joe.
No, she's a sweetie pie. She puts up with me. That tells you she's a sweetie pie, because I drive her crazy when I'm there. She's probably so happy to see me leave. It's not even funny. But
one of the things we do too, when the day's over with, then we have the lobby con / bar con, where we go there and you'll just be able to sit down and just chat with people, and you'll end up spending hours there talking to your fellow writers, and you'll meet your illustrator, and just different things that'll happen, and the judges will be there, so you'll be able to chat with them. It's just a chance to just really go over the day and like, what are your future are, and what about this, and how'd you get that? And you just, you develop lifelong relationships at this point.
Yeah, the one part of this week I haven't heard much about is when do we sleep?
Yeah, that's not on the schedule. That's not something that.
That's when you get on an airplane going home. That's the first time you'll get a real good sleep.
Yeah, it's one of those things that some people like, oh man, I hate having to sleep, because it's in the schedule to sleep, but some people just want to be able to like milk every possible moment they can, because it's, you're with like-minded creatives. Some people have never been with other authors, and now you're with a dozen plus the judges, and it's just like a kid in a candy store. You just have all these things there, and just all these experiences, and just don't want to go away. It's like I'm having just the time of my life, and you don't go away, don't stop, and so, I'll take an extra coffee, please, right. And I do a thing up there too, on the 4th floor where your workshop is, at our offices, because I'm here on the 5th floor. The 1 floor down is the L. Ron Hubbard Library, and we have a really nice lounge where we have a real fancy coffee machine.
Yep, good coffee.
And I make coffees there with it's an Italian press coffee machine, and so I do that, and I'll make
make sure you
cappuccinos, and
make sure you get John to make them. He makes the best coffee. He missed his calling, man. I'm telling you. It's, no, anytime I'm in there, I go get a cup when he's around, and it's a great espresso machine is what it is. It's a beautiful machine, and it does make a mean ass cup of coffee. So, and author service is a beautiful building itself inside. So you'll enjoy being in, and everywhere you look, there's a book. At least in that floor, everywhere you look. It's downstairs not as much, but still.
The only thing you'd be amazed with too, when you come into the L. Ron Hubbard Library, all you see is books, but they're all books written by him. You don't really have an idea how much he's written to actually see the library. It's like hundreds. And that's just fiction, let alone his nonfiction, which is in another section there. But he was just so prolific, millions and millions of words. He, like Battlefield Earth, he wrote in, I think, 8 months. That was 425,000 words. Then the following year, he wrote Mission Earth, which is 1.2 million words, also in 8 months. And he had 2 manual typewriters he would use. He typed the one, and then until it broke, and then they change that, send that to the shop, and use the other typewriter, and they just rotate them, we have one section in there in the library. You see the Mission Earth manuscript. It's about 3.5 feet tall inside this plexiglass thing, which is the manuscript was hand typed on there. It's just, he was old school in that respect, using a typewriter. He went between handwriting and typing, and a lot of the notes that he had with Battlefield Earth and Mission Earth were handwritten notes, that as he was evolving the story. But it was just amazing. He was writing pretty much like 100,000 words a month, 3 days a week, 3 hours a day was his how he'd write. A.E. Van Vogt and hopefully his widow is going to be attending the gala, Lydia Van Vogt. I'm waiting to hear back today if they're going to be able to make it. But he said he watched Hubbard writing a story, and he put the paper in, and he looked towards the wall, and he just started typing. So he typed the story as it was playing out in his mind, and when we proofread the stories we released back in 2008. We did a whole evolution of 153 of his published stories, and on proofreading them, we come to it, and all of a sudden, we'd see a page you go early. You turn the page, and then you're back a page early. So that was before you had whiteout, before you had computers that you could just go back and delete and come forward. So he'd go back a page, and he'd type through the change, and then it would go a different direction. And so, but he said I think it was a 92% publication rate, first submission, first draft. But he wrote millions and millions of words. So after a fashion, he said, above all else, I consider myself a writer. And he was writing. He was quote unquote the editor of his school paper in Montana, and he loved writing, and he kept on writing.
Yeah, that's eliminates one of the distractions of us modern writers, where we might write a paragraph and then go back and read it and then start tinkering instead of continue to write. You didn't have that temptation, I guess.
Yeah. And one thing too, that one of our judges, Dean Wesley Smith, he talks about editing, and he says, when you polish a story, it's like polishing a rock. Eventually, all polished rocks look the same. They're all smooth, and they got whatever luster they've got. But when they start off, they've got their unique edges and cuts and stuff like that. And so when you write, so he himself is also that mindset of like, you write your story and submit it. And the only time you change it is if an editor asks for something. You don't go through and, do a bunch of edits to it. You'll proofread it, and that's all fine there like that. But just otherwise, that's your story. And if somebody and you just write your next story, you keep on writing. And those are high production writers that do that. Yeah,
that technique resonates with me. It's kind of closer to my own style as well. I do my share revision like any good writer should, but I often feel like I should be doing more, but I think what I have is pretty good. So
yeah, so that's what it is. And he's also that old school that throw away your first 500,000 to 1 million words until you really build up your own voice. So that you start off initially as a you're either doing fan fiction or you're emulating your favorite author, or I really like how this guy, so you're writing like that person there. And then eventually you start becoming yourself, and you write, this is my voice now speaking, not trying to be somebody else. Not everybody is that, but a lot of people go through that. It's just same thing like any musical instrument, you're going to try to emulate your favorite guitar player or your favorite pianist or something like that. And eventually get to where you play your form of guitar or your form of drums or your form of whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the other guests respond yet. That's weird. Sent them the request twice. Who was that? Brandon? Brenda? Is that who it was? It's you might hit Carmen up, tell them hit her again or something.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt. They wanted to make sure I had that straightened out. It's so I mean, you just wake up and write. I mean, the reason I'm asking is I know a lot of different writers, and like a good friend of mine, Nick Redfern, he's a 9 to 5 writer. He gets up in the morning, gets a cup of coffee, got a studio, goes in the studio, writes till noon, it's lunch, writes till 5, goes home, goes back into his house. The studio's in his house. He's got about 170 something books to his credit these days. And now, in all fairness, they're a bunch of different genres, and then they're probably yay thick. I'd say 300 pages, maybe less, maybe a little bit more. But he just pops them out. But then I know people who write in sections, and then I know people who just sit down and write. until they're tired and exhausted, and then come back and if they're not finished. And
I'll be back in 1 minute.
It's so it's kind of weird how it's different for everybody. But I was just curious for you. I mean, I heard you just got up, wrote the story, and so just the ideas just pop into your head.
One thing I've learned at this, stage of my emerging career, I guess you could say, is that craft is craft, but technique, every writer is different. They do things differently, and different things work for one writer versus another. So I've found that some amount of outlining works best for me. I've tried just kind of going and starting writing, and I just kind of tend to meander and end up nowhere. But so I do some outline is necessary for me. But in terms of time of day, a lot of writers will wake up and start writing, and when they're fresh. But I find myself to be most creative in the evening. I guess I'm kind of a night owl, so words come harder for me in the morning for whatever reason. But if I, after dinner, go up to my office and start writing, I tend to. It's easier for whatever reason.
No, I can understand that because I do a lot of stuff in the evening times. A lot of my editing work, or when matter of fact, even a lot of the station meetings I schedule for in the evenings. My station manager, she's out of Toronto. She hosts a show on 2 shows actually, on Wednesday and Thursday. And usually after her shows, we'll do station meetings, and she don't even end until 10 o'clock. And so we'll do stations meetings, and we just, I don't know, it's easier for me. I'm more awake. I'm more relaxed. If I get up in the morning, I don't want to rush and be doing stuff. I notice if I start rushing around in the morning, I get aggravated or my day turns out to not be as good. So I just take my time during the day. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm trying to lose my voice. Yeah, we got 5 tons of pollen in the air right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And where are you located?
I live on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. I'm from New Orleans, and I'm down there a lot. But in the station, part of the station's out of New Orleans. But I bought a place in a place called Pass Christian, Mississippi. I live on the water. I mean, the bayou is 20 feet from my back door, and the Gulf is 200 yards.
Nice.
And a beautiful sandy white beach. This was a customer of mine when I had my construction company. His daughter in this place, and he asked me one day. He said, "Why don't you go up and look at the house? And it needs some work." I was like, "Really?" So I get up here. The house had been completely remodeled inside. So I fixed everything outside that was broken. Told me only about $2,000. He says, "Why don't you use it as a camp for a couple of months, and that way I don't have to pay you?" I'm like, "All right, that's fine." And then he calls me one day. He goes, "My daughter pays $400, $500 a month to keep everything up. Why don't you give me that, and you can keep it for as long as you want as a camp?" I'm like, "It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath on the water." I'm like, 2,000 square feet. I'm like, "Sure." About a year goes by, he calls me. He says, "I need you to come by my office. It's important." I figured he had some work he wanted done or something. And I go in there. He's got all his paperwork all over. He said, "Sign here, here, and here." I'm like, "What am I signing?" He said, "The house is yours, $750 a month, 5%, 30 years. Thank you." He gave it to me for $134,000. Last I had this house appraised around $500. I think I owe $80 on it. So it's got quite a bit of equity in it now. That was just a deal. And you know what that really was? And ladies and gentlemen, a lesson for all of y'all. I was at a Christmas party at a place called the Bicycle Club. And it's a big office party we were having. All with different contractors and their customers. So this old man sitting outside, I knew this guy from in the office. I hadn't really talked to him all that much. Occasional job here and there. I went outside with a glass of wine and a cigar for him and me, and we sat down and talked all night. After that, he started giving me all kinds of work, and then I ended up with his house because of that one night contract. And it wasn't about money because I was just going to go sit out there because he looked lonely out there by himself. So I went out and sat down with him out in the Arboretum. Yeah, people, it pays to be nice.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer no good deed goes unpunished either. I'm gonna be honest about that one. Every time I just help somebody out, I regret it later on.
Yeah.
But I mean, you'll have a lot of fun out there, and Tim Powell's a lot of fun to talk to, and Anderson Scott Card is Orson Scott Card is interesting in itself. He's a character and a half. Him and I have had many good interviews. John says I'm limited to what I can talk to him about.
Now, you just know if you're going to get into with Scott, if you're going to get into religion or politics, you're definitely going to have. He definitely has opinions on.
Oh yeah, he's got a strong opinion. But usually when you're there, you don't really hear anybody talking about politics.
No, we don't get to that. We don't do that at
There's no real religion talk or politics going on. It's all pretty much authors and illustrators, and that's
about creativity and story ideas, and what about this, and how'd you grow up, and how'd you get started, and where'd you get the idea from? It's just,
I find it. So and it's not that it's banned or anything. It's just everybody's too busy to worry about it. Too much other stuff going on.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting about Rise of the Future is that we are all over the place on the types of people that you find there. We're so diverse. It's crazy because we're all about the writing or about the art. So we have people that are ultra liberal, ultra conservative, super religious, atheists. It's just, that has nothing to do with the contest. So we don't get into that, so we stay clear of that. And, we have, we're just all over the place, and it's what it is. So we just celebrate that, which is part of why it's so successful and such a popular program, because that is all it's about. There's nobody can say like, well, you're prejudiced. Really? How can we be? Because the judges, they never know who they're judging. It's either a good story, it's not,
Yeah.
That's the best part, being blind judged. I mean, you earned your win. It wasn't given to you by a name or anything else. And that was one of my hardest things when I met. I was a blind judge. What? Get the bleep out of here, man, with the blind judge and stuff. And then I met all the judges and found out, he was telling me the truth. I was like, damn it. I thought I had him, man. But the judges, they don't know nothing. Man.
Yeah.
They just have a number in that story.
From the perspective of a winner, that really makes it all the more special, because knowing that, okay, nothing about me, myself, my identity had anything to do with that. It was all about what I wrote.
Exactly.
So that just really made me
I like they do it that way too, because it takes any accidental prejudices out. No, I think that's actually an excellent thing. So, all the judges are fine with it. Works well. Why fix something that ain't broke, right?
Yeah.
It works good. It's okay. Put me out of here.
One time we had sometimes we've had winners that are very shy and aren't interested in doing anything, and says, okay, well, you won. The judges chose you as the grand prize winner. So well done. Here's your check. And they go on their merry way. They'll write, they'll do their art or whatever like that. And someone else who's very vocal and very active and very, shouting from the rooftops. Oh man, if they would have been the grand prize winner, that would have been great. But you just take the cards as they fall,
Yeah.
But there's one thing I've found too, is that being a grand prize winner doesn't mean that you're going to make automatically a better career as a writer. So in the contest, you won. But just the fact of being in the book, we're running at a 62% success rate of winners going on to successful careers in writing or in art of some format. Some writers win and then they go on to writing technical manuals, but because they can write fiction, they can write technical manuals and make them interesting. So we had one girl that won both the writer. She was a grand prize writer, or she was a writer winner and an illustrator winner. And then she went working for, she couldn't say for a longest time, but then she writes technical manuals for McDonnell Douglas, with high tech stuff. And but because she can illustrate, she's able to illustrate her manuals, and because she was a fiction writer, she could write stuff that was actually interesting, and that the scientists and stuff could actually enjoy and be wanting to read the stuff. So she does very well with that.
Yeah, when I gave screenwriting a shot and kind of decided, okay, I gave it my best shot, I'm moving on. My career between then and now has been in writing in various forms, some of it technical writing, some of it like online content writing and other things. But I've been a writer the whole time, just kind of more focused on business and technical writing. But now I'm looking to put that behind me and do the actual creative writing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
You have yourself, especially if you're writing science fiction, the more you can put in actual science in there that's plausible, the easier it is for your reader to suspend disbelief when you move into your fictional part.
Yeah.
That's really important, because I read a lot right now because of the podcast. And So I read a lot of, when I read a lot of fantasy and then science fiction, and then sometimes I'll read. I recently had a guest, a thriller, Rachel Household Hall. She's written a lot of romantasy, but she's also a best-selling mystery writer. And we talked about the difference between the two. And she said, sometimes, the mystery is harder because everything's got to be plausible. You can't have, like in fantasy, you can get yourself going and all of a sudden, okay, bring, here's my sword, or you've got some type of a magical solution to a corner that you've painted yourself into. Whereas in an actual thriller, you've got to put all the pieces together. But then when you do your fantasy, it's got to be plausible, and you need to have enough true stuff that's believable so that when you put it in there, someone is willing to, okay, good, I'm cool with that. I can do that. I'm reading Tim Powers. He's got a book coming out next month. So I'm reading it right now. I'm gonna have him as a guest. Interview him during the workshop during the 24-hour story. Probably my favorite Tim Powers story so far. Just really, really good. But he takes a period of history and he'll go through and it's all fact. Here's all the known stuff. Then he finds a hole where there's nothing there, and then he fills it in now with his fantasy. But either side, it's got the fact stuff.
Yeah, he's one of my one of my longtime favorite authors back since the 1980s. So
enjoy meeting. He loves meeting his authors.
Yes, so definitely looking forward to that, and also reading his new book.
Yeah,
also. Yeah.
Yeah, you should get a copy of it and have them sign it to you as well while you're there.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah. But that's why Fear, because you read the book Fear. Have you read that one now?
Yeah, just finished it a few days ago.
What did you think of it?
I enjoyed it, and what surprised me most about it was, I was expecting it to serve as kind of example of kind of horror and whatnot, just from what I've heard about it. But really what surprised me most and what I enjoyed most was just the actual prose itself. And it sounds somewhat simple, but his writing craft in that book was just so evocative, describing any given scene or setting. It just like, I felt like I was there. Just the language was really.
Yeah, that's what Tim likes about it too. He said he loves it for the quality of the prose in that story, which is why that's Tim's favorite Hubbard story.
Oh, interesting, yeah.
And illustrators love the Hubbard stories because it's so easy for them to visualize what they're going to illustrate.
Right.
All the original judges who used to illustrate his stuff said, "Yeah, we love when we got a Hubbard story because it was so easy to visualize what we're going to do. He makes it so evocative, but you get that images right there."
Yeah, it's hard for me to square like all of that and then also picturing him writing at the furious pace at which he wrote. I mean, how do you write so fast but also produce that kind of prose?
Yeah, well, I think he like 16 million words of fiction. I mean, he wrote a lot. So eventually you're going to get to where you can but like I said, what A. Van Vogt said when he watched him write, he's just, the story would play out in his mind and he'd be typing it. So he'd be writing what he could see, and his vocabulary was almost second to none. It's amazing what it was. I forget the number, but with all the stories he put in the computer, someone did how many unique words were there in there? And it was 11 or 12,000 words. It was amazing. Different words. That was the vocabulary. And the average American vocabulary is like 200, 300 words. It's crazy. How much you have to dumb down stuff for people to be able to really duplicate.
Wow. Yeah. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. So, where do you hail from?
I'm currently, have been the last decade from the Denver area, Colorado.
Okay, so you're just flying in from Denver. Yeah. So I fly into Denver every February for the Superstars Writing Conference. That's where we saw you there, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we fly there every February, but this time for you to come here, it's we had a real hot spell about 3 weeks or so ago. Now it's cooled down again. So hopefully it stays temperate in April when you guys get here, because it's during the gala, we have a lot of people in that space, and they keep the air conditioner. They can't have any loud equipment playing when they record the footage, because it's being recorded also to make a replay event and to make a documentary we're working on. So it's not always nice when it's a temperate weather and not hot. And also when you're outside on the red carpet, it's nice when it's temperate and not all super hot and sunny.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I was looking at the photos from last year, and the red carpet, I did notice that there was like full sun shining down on them. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering how hot it would be.
Yeah, and it's because it's at mid to late afternoon, so then the sun is directly overhead, and it doesn't, so it start going down. So then it's about, I guess, it's coming in like at, I guess, 60 degrees or so. So you'll get the direct sunlight, and so sometimes people are like, so you're like, okay, everybody close your eyes, okay, open. But with all the media there, it's kind of hard for everybody just to keep squinting and closing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's been a lot of fun. We got a lot of people coming this year. We got people, it's amazing. We got one media couple. I mean, Joe's coming in from Louisiana. You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah. Probably leaving out of New Orleans, but I'm in my house.
Yeah. New Orleans, and we got another couple coming in from Texas, and we got someone else coming in, I think, from Pennsylvania or something like that. And then we have a lot of guests coming in from Florida. They're flying in. We have one guy, he attended several years ago, and he's a movie producer and an actor, and said, well, if you can make it. So he said, okay, yeah, I can do it. I'm arranging some studio time the next day so I can come out there and make it part of my business. So he's coming out, and he's invited 5 of his actress, producer guests. And we just have a lot of people that love it, just because it's such a high-end event. Very few actual black tie events anymore. So it's an opportunity for people to really dress up and do it right.
Yeah.
Yes, we all get to be pretty.
Yeah, you've given my wife a bigger dilemma than me, she's been doing lots of shopping or trying to figure out what to wear. So
that's funny. We ask the girls usually when they come on, like, so you what to wear? No, I'm working on it. They're like, but my wife too is like, she's going through, and she's gone through 4 dresses so far. What do you think of this? I don't like this. Okay, I think we finally settled on one that she's going to wear. And then we'll take it to the tailor so it gets properly fitted.
Just tell us stuff herself. She looks good in any damn dress. Just tell her put a damn.
I tell you, we can put a potato sack on you. You look gorgeous.
I know, man.
She says,
she's another hard-working person while she's there too.
Yeah,
it's funny with her though, because you'll see her, and then for like 2 days, sometimes 3 days, you just won't see her till late in the evening.
And you won't see her, yeah. Because come Tuesday, she's full time at the center. She's the producer for the event, for the gala. And I mean, you met her at Superstars, so you know who she is. But she gets like 6 o'clock in the morning then, and goes up there for setups, and she's unloading the truck. She's definitely in her work clothes. She's setting up the stage, working at this. Where's the camera going to go? Oh, there's 6 cameras actually for this event, and it's a full production. And but she's learning how to laser sight the stage, because we build the stage so it gets leveled with a laser. So she's learning how to do that this year, and it's quite a deal. And it's just, I saw the I guess yesterday I saw the design for the stage. You've seen the cover, so it's themed against that, so it's amazing. And then there's that dragon. I haven't seen it, but Gunhild Jacobs, the executive director, has seen it, and it's 14 foot tall. It's being made. They've got one of those machines that cuts styrofoam and then puts it together. So it's 14 foot tall. It'll be outside next to the Stuff and Repeat. So it'll be pretty exciting.
It's a beautiful gala. I mean, it really is. The whole thing is really nice. It's well put together. The food's decent. You get a good.
What do you mean decent? It's awesome.
No, that came out wrong anyway. It is good. The food's great. You got to remember, guys, I'm from New Orleans. Nothing outside of the city of New Orleans is great food. It's wannabe food. When I'm traveling, I'm like, matter of fact, I was giving the guys the first year I was there at what is it, 24 degrees. I'm like, look, do y'all not know what a real hamburger is? Do I have to come back there and cook me a hamburger? What's going on here? And I had to teach them how to make damn sweet tea, man. I was like, come on, people. I said, we're in Los Angeles. You don't have iced tea out here. So I'm getting a little weird about this. Both hotels were like that, the Roosevelt and the Lowe's. I was like, you don't have tea? And then I aggravated them enough till they kept tea for the rest of the time I was there. You'd be surprised how many people started drinking that ice. I kept, man, that's my tea. Get out of my damn tea. Even the people at the hotels, I met, it's been 2 years since we've been at the Roosevelt, but I met a good bit of the staff over there. I even interviewed a couple of them while I was there last time. And then the staff over at the Lowe's was a good staff. They took really good care of you too. Both hotels were really nice. The thing about the Roosevelt is it's just there's a little more class, I guess. The Lowe's is just a more modern hotel connected to the mall. It's a beautiful hotel. I don't take anything away from it. But the Roosevelt's got little hidden nooks and crannies and stuff and rooms that disappear and things like that. And matter of fact, usually where the illustrators are is behind the bookcase room. So
yeah, this year, but it's going to be in the first floor. It's now back over. So both workshops. The workshops are always better when we're here at the services.
It's easier for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything you need is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what I read about the hotel, it sounds like would be some good writing prompts for us writers, like repeated haunted and other historical tidbits. So.
Yeah.
Well, like the disappearing room they have there, they have a bar inside of there. They also have a bar by the pool, and then they have the bar in the lobby. So there's 3 different places to hang out. So you never know where everybody's going to be. But generally everybody meets down in the lobby, but sometimes they'll be by the pool because they also serve food by the pool too. So.
Yeah. We have a little, Emily put together a guide for all the local restaurants so you can find, the $1 sign, $2 sign, so you don't get tripped up and going someplace all of a sudden. What?
Yeah. How many millions of dollars is? I mean, 24 degrees does make a good hamburger. Just don't get a turkey burger. But I mean, they make a good hamburger, but their prices aren't horrible. I mean, they're not cheap, but they're not horrible.
I mean, nothing's cheap anymore.
No, it ain't nothing cheap. It's like Atlanta. There ain't nothing cheap up there. It's
yeah. I mean, our gas now just broke $6 a gallon.
Yes, boy, joy, wonderful. Hey, screen, where'd you go?
You disappeared, Joe. You've been taken up by an alien. Oh, there you're back now.
What the hell was that all about? That was very weird. The computer decided to go. I don't know. Since both the other guest things, I haven't heard from either one of them. I don't know what they're doing, man. They over there.
I got lucky. I got all this extra screen time. Right?
Yeah.
Well, hey. Whoops. What was that, Joseph? Okay.
I texted Carmen. He didn't respond, so I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, no telling him. He was probably off getting in trouble. Last time I thought he said he was going somewhere in the mountains or something. Yeah.
He's got his other thing that he does. He goes up his landlady. He does work for her. She's got a big ranch, and he goes up there and bales hay and all kinds of stuff.
That's where he sounded like he was headed up there.
Who was that you talking about?
Carmen. You'll get to meet him. He's
right.
We call him Mr. Bigfoot. It's what is he, like 6'3" or something? So he's tall.
He's a big boy. Yes.
And they got a picture of me standing between him and what's his name, Smith last year. I was like, okay. I look like a midget, man. And I'm 5'10", so I'm kind of like, wait a minute. And I was wearing shit kickers, which means I was at least 6 foot, and I still look like a midget. Them boys are tall. No, Jackie. What do you mean? No, you have to win you either have to win or be part of what's going on to be there. Yeah. You can't just buy a ticket. No. I've tried to talk John into let me sell tickets. He said no. Besides, my ticket price was going to be very expensive. No, he won't let me record any of that stuff. I tried a dozen times. Said, let me turn this into like
Nope, you got to win the you got to win the contest to get within those things.
It's you can submit 4 times a year, guys. So Speaking of that, Mike, how many times have you submitted?
My winning entry was my 4th. The one before
that's
that was
good.
honorable mention, and before that were a couple of rejections. So
Yeah, that's good. 4 is good. Yeah, no, that's good. I think the average is somewhere between like 10 and 14, but there's been longer, there's been shorter. You know, just I always ask. But I came up with that 12, 14 because the first 3 years there, it seemed like everybody was somewhere in that area right there. Which somebody said, "Well, that's like 14 years." I said, "No, people, 4 times a year. It's not that long."
Yeah, when I mentioned that, a couple of years ago, I kind of decided to re-energize my whole creative writing career. Like one of the first, so I started by just trying to find every resource I could to just try to, reconnect and learn more about the craft. And one of the first things I found was the online workshop. And so that was kind of a key find for me, just not only go through it and then also discover the contest. And that was great.
Yeah, Emily's the one that actually scripted it and put it together, and she produced that as well. But it was amazing because we got those. We did it. We didn't want to do it because a lot of times those the interviews and stuff like that with authors doing their stuff, it's them talking to somebody else and it's being videoed. Here's their thing. But this is, we created specifically, so it's just like what you're seeing right now. There we go. We got Zach now. Well, guys. So we created it so that the judges are talking directly to you, not talking to someone else and you're getting a profile view of it. It's just like you're specifically done like that. And each one was scripted to cover a different part of writing. So that was really good. Somebody say hello, Zach.
Howdy, John.
Welcome.
Hey,
thanks. Good to be here, guys.
Yeah.
So have you met Mike? Have you guys met each other?
No. Good to meet you, and we'll get to know each other real soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
In a week and a half.
Yes.
So he's in Denver, Colorado. Where are you, Zach?
Right near Salt Lake City, Utah, just over the mountains.
Excellent.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was just there. We fly into there to go to Lafayette University and everything in Provo, and then we drive back up there. And then we also go up there and we do interviews with sometimes some of our winners, and then we have one of our judges that lives there. And then we'll be there for the FanX.
Sure.
Yeah, and you'll be there. You'll get a free pro badge to come there.
Hey.
And yeah, that'll be good there.
Well, I'm going to drop off and let the spotlight shine on Zach. So thanks for having me.
Nice seeing you, and I'll see you in a week and a half, Mike.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. So anyway, Joe's got his standard initial question he's going to ask.
Well,
all right.
I always ask, what made you think you could write, or how did you? What was it? What was the thought behind? Okay, I'm going to be an author.
Oh, well, that's a great question. You think I thought about it?
I know, but that's why I asked.
Come on.
You never know how Arthur's going to answer this question.
I think before I had the conscious thought as a kid, I was just a reader. Like I read everything I loved. Just love books, of course. But I do remember like this one incident where I think it must have been in the back of my mind. Because I remember having kind of this argument with a friend of mine at karate class. And he was telling me there's nobody in the world who makes a living as an author except Stephen King. There's one guy and that's it. I was like, no way, that can't be true. So I think like even at that time in the back of my head was rattling around. But then the way I came into it was just doing a lot of writing as a part of college, like doing my grad degree. I'm a teacher. And so I was like doing graduate school part-time in the evenings and weekends and summers, that craziness, and just doing a lot of writing and rediscovering that I really liked writing. Right. And then getting done with that and also discovering, but I don't really love writing technical academic kind of things. Like there's a certain voice to that, which I can do, but is not where my heart is most of the time. Like, and so then getting done with that massive drain on my life and time, which was really valuable, but going, I have some time now. I want to read and I want to write. And so just picking up some really great books I'd been meaning to read forever. And also kind of being in the writing mindset that just kind of felt like the path to pursue next. And yeah, that was a while ago. So my academic type writing, I did publish a book, a nonfiction book on jazz education. That's a passion of mine in my day job. And but after that, I felt like I had said what I needed to say in that world, and I really wanted to write fiction. And the rest is a very long history of lots of words and lots of rejection. But yeah, that was the start.
Yeah, well, that's why I always say to starve an author. So people
Yeah.
always think they're making fun about that, but in the beginning, I mean, if you're not doing anything else for a living, it's tough. I mean, most of the authors I've met were doing something before they actually started, making money, I guess. But it's got to be still hard. So fantasy.
It's a mix. The story I have with Writers of the Future is I best described as fantasy, I guess. Noir thriller is what we're calling it.
Yeah, this is what Tangent Online just said about your story. It's probably the best short story review magazine in the world. So it says, Shell Game by Zach Poulter is a very satisfying noir SF thriller. Detective John Rojic blacks out while his partner is interrogating a quote-unquote shell, a human host whose body is temporarily controlled by an alien. When Rojic wakes up, his partner and the shell are dead, and he is holding a smoking shotgun. This plunges him into a deadly, hidden battle between near immortal beings. The story is worth the price of admission.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty good. So the reviewer definitely liked your story.
That's the first I've heard. That's the first I've heard any review.
Yeah,
right here.
It's the first book review that came in.
Yeah,
well,
there'll be more, I'm sure, about that.
Yeah, there'll be a lot more.
But then I have that's very exciting. I can't wait for the book to come out and be able to share that with people. I have a sci-fi story coming out in Analog, coming up in the May-June. And I've got a novel on submission that's a horror novel. So I'm kind of all over the map. I think they all have some things in common, but kind of fast-paced thriller style, but with a little bit of humor. And yeah, at least I hope it'll be a good ride for whoever starts the stories. What a great cover too! I love that dragon and the volcano in the back.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that on the stage, man.
Yeah, it'll be on the stage, and also we'll have a big 14-foot 3D sculpture of it outside by the Step and Repeat.
Nice.
I'm anxious to see Cirillo's look when he gets out of the car and sees it for the first time.
Oh,
He'll be totally flipped out.
It's always a lot of fun though. Oh wait, I see we got Brenda down there. She's with us. Hey,
Hey, Brenda.
Okay, good. Yeah, because
let me get us all in one screen here where I can see everybody. All right, look at all these good faces. Okay, we're good to go. I don't know if you heard me asking him about how did you become a writer, Arthur. I'm curious, what made you just decide you wanted to write?
Oh, I've always loved writing, even when I was in elementary school. You want to hear my first poem that I ever wrote?
Sure, I'm always glad to hear that.
Okay, here it is. The vacuum cleaner is a scary thing. It makes a dreadful noise. It sucks up all the dirt and dust and even children's toys. Yeah, so I sent that off to Highlights and got my first rejection. I don't remember if I was 6 or 7 years old, but
unfortunately, in this business, rejection is part of it.
It is an ongoing part of it. Yeah.
But at least you're getting a boost with Writers of the Future. I can tell you this from people I've talked to, they pay more attention to the stories now when they see where it comes from. I was talking to somebody last year about it, and they were talking about, I wonder if I can say I won this. I said, yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't put that on your resume. I just won Writers of the Future. So, because people look at that and they say, well, they're award winning. Let's check them out, what they got. So how was your story?
The story?
Yeah, this year. Yeah. You can talk about it.
Oh,
don't give it away, but you can talk about it. Well, by the way, Zach, Brenda, Zach, sorry, I was being rude. I apologize.
Hey.
Love your story. Love your story.
Oh, thanks. I enjoyed yours too. I haven't got through the whole book, but I did read yours and I loved it.
I did finish. I took my time reading and I went from front to back.
Yeah.
Didn't skip anything except my own story because I've read it so many times. It's like, I can't.
You don't want to find a typo at this point, right? I mean, not that there would be.
Like, no, did I say that? But I knew that I wanted to write about a recluse, someone who lived in the woods by herself and was self-sufficient because wow, I can't imagine anybody who would, be like that. And of course, had to have aliens in there because aliens are awesome.
The alien's always good.
So I just read to Zach what Tangent Online, which is the biggest review publication for short stories. So here's what you would like to hear what they said about your story.
Do I?
Yes, you do. Here we go.
Okay.
Can humanity ever evolve past its irrational self-destructiveness? The ethos of Star Trek would say yes, but a cynical, reclusive Arkansas homesteader named Reverie Pearson has a different take on this question. In Canary by Brenda Posey, Reverie wakes up one morning with puzzling gaps in her memory and anomalous inconsistencies involving her house and garden. When a mysterious and annoying boy shows up at the edge of the woods that border her property, the oddness piles up until she faces a sudden revelation and a fateful choice.
Okay. Can I hire them to write like copy for me?
That's what I was thinking.
That sounds like an awesome story. Can I read it?
Yeah. Well, obviously, it's not, both of you guys have awesome stories because you won the contest and you're in the book.
Thank you.
And like I said, Sean, who was on earlier, you got the competition is really intense right now for this contest. I mean, there's thousands of entries every quarter. So the fact that you guys are winners really speaks, amazing amounts towards the quality of your storytelling. So it's one of those things that it's guaranteed to be a great story. It's just the main thing is somebody likes the type of story you write. But anybody that likes your type of story is going to be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I'm always just amazed at the quality of stories. And just how do you think, for years on that story of Canary, how do you think of that? And just the way that you came up with that title of what, how that figures out the canary, from earlier on with the miners, just having that to be able to.
Exactly.
Is it going to, can they breathe in the mine tunnels there? And just if the canary survives, then yes. And if not, then no.
Yeah. Well, the original title for the work was Uncanny Valley. And I realized, that's putting too much emphasis on the setting. And I want the emphasis on the character, the main character.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, so how did you come, each of you guys, I'm curious how you came up with your ideas for your stories. But since I'm a guy, old school, so girls first.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, Zach, go for it. Again, I knew that I wanted an alien, and I knew I wanted a reclusive homeowner. The idea had been marinating, percolating, decaying something in my thoughts for quite some time. I actually have a lot of ideas kind of lined up,
percolating along,
and I didn't work on it front to back all at once. I kind of worked on a little bit, did another project, worked on that a little bit. So I kind of went back and forth, and to be honest, I don't really remember all of the step-by-step trajectory there that got me from the beginning of the story to the end, because you finish the story, then you go back and you write the beginning, and then you do tweak here, tweak there, and it's like, oh my gosh, the end of the quarter's coming up, and I promised that I would enter something every quarter. Quick, send it off. It'll be fine. This next one's going to be a winner. Yeah. And when Joni called me, I was kind of in shock and still kind of am, but yay.
Well, you can continue your shock when you arrive in a week and a half.
Wow. I know it's counting down. It's been being second quarter, had not quite a whole year, but yeah.
You have your dress?
It is at the seamstress being hemmed. So because it took a while to find shoes that weren't embarrassing. So
okay, good. And what about you, Zach? Now your story, how that came to be.
I thought you were asking me about my dress. My story. That's a better
How
question.
Is your dress?
Let's talk about the story.
Yeah, they're a good idea.
I think there are two ideas for me that really combine for this story. And one is an experience I had. I was probably 10 years old, and I'm standing in the backyard of my house in rural Idaho. There's the hayfield. there's the house, and I'm looking out at this beautiful long view, and it occurred to me, in like, I guess, an obvious moment, but everybody else that I've ever met, and everybody else is alive, also is like truly alive, and they're experiencing the world from their viewpoint only, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if this seems like naive or profound, but it really affected me that they are seeing from behind their eyes, almost as if we're each like this spaceship that we inhabit. And that image has always stuck with me, and that comes to play in the story a lot. But then the other side of it, I read pretty broadly. I'm fascinated by a lot of different things, and the world of investing has always, or not always, but the last decade or so has really affected me. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's partner who passed away, really deep thinking guy, and he would tell the story of a fellow billionaire who made his entire fortune just by buying things within a 1 square mile. And you always think of billionaires as like having this great global grasp. And I thought, well, okay, let's put that in a speculative lens. What if you had this character who had these abilities to inhabit other people, and they didn't want global domination? They just wanted to go local, and they wanted to dig deep into a little community. What would that like? Why would they do that? What would the risks be? What would the rewards be? And then I was off and running. That was the groundwork for the story.
That's awesome. So Joe, can you pick up? I just need to excuse myself for 1 minute.
Hey, run, damn it. So y'all ready, right? So LA is like less than 2 weeks now.
And you too, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I've been coming now. This will be my 7th group, 6th year I've been hanging out with him.
Awesome.
I started right with him after COVID because John called me and told me about this thing, and I said, "You're crazy. Nobody does that. Nobody does blind drawing. You're nuts. Don't be calling me smoking crack or something." This is when we went back and forth for like a year, and he invited me out, and when I got out to the contest was exactly what he said. I'm just not used to, because I've been to a lot of contests, and there's usually some catch somewhere. There's none with this. These people legit want to help everybody. It kind of freaks me out a little bit sometimes. They're so nice, it scares me sometimes. I give them trouble about it every year. I said, I'm just waiting for one of y'all to come out of the closet. We're like, it never happens. So.
That's actually what my husband said, because I said, wow, this past year has been kind of like a dream. He says, you know what? In 4 days, it'll be April 1st, and they're going to call and say, surprise, April Fool, you're not a winner.
Well, y'all are going to be at the Roosevelt this year, which is a really nice old hotel right on Hollywood Boulevard. So Arthur Service is right down the street. It's not maybe a block walk. So everything's right there. Everything's convenient. They tell you where all the restaurants are. They got a couple of restaurants in the hotel. 24 degrees is probably mid-range price. For LA, we're talking about. I think a hamburger and fries and the drink's like $20, $25. Like, yeah, it's been a year, so my brain's not always there. But there are a lot of cheap places around. I got expensive places. Just it's LA. There's food all over the place, and there's always the hamburgers I keep hearing about that I've never eaten. I've been to LA since I was in the service. I don't know, 30, 40 times. I still have not eaten an In-N-Out burger. One of these days, I'm going to get to it. But they have bar con, lobby con, whatever you want to call it. So usually in the evenings after all the courses are done, everybody will meet downstairs. They'll get food or get a drink, and everybody's sitting around talking. I tell all the winners the same thing every year. If you're downstairs and you see some judges you want to talk to them, for some reason you've gotten nervous and don't want to approach them, just walk up to them and say, "Hey, Joe, I'll bring you right over, introduce you." All the judges know me. They already know I'm a pain in the ass. So, that's part of my job being there. So,
professional wingman.
Yes, I want to make sure everybody gets get the most out of it they can, and the judges are really good people. They're really nice people. I mean, they're donating their time. They want to make sure that you're coming away with more than you came there with. The classes are great. I've sat through them for a couple of years now. I've actually learned quite a lot. I've done a lot of author interviews over the years, more than 1,000, and and then I thought I knew about authors until I went and sat through some of these courses. I was like, "You're ignorant, buddy." Absolutely and totally. But all the judges are really approachable. They're really nice. I mean, everybody's got their favorite judges when they get there, but like I said, they're all very approachable. And usually, and if you're shy and standing around and you don't find me, a lot of times they will just walk up and talk to you.
Yeah.
Just be prepared. If they see you just standing there, like they'll probably come up or they'll flag you over something. It's a great group of people. And when you're over at our service, they take really good care of you over there.
Good coffee.
Be sure you talk John into a coffee.
Yeah.
He's got a great coffee machine. I usually, when I'm sitting over there, I usually have like 3 cups. So I got to go find something to do after that. So go find some energy, and they do the barbecue over there. Just a lot of stuff goes on, and the building's really nice. It's really pretty. It's a plus. You get to see Elron's massive library of books he's got there. There are books everywhere.
He was amazingly prolific in all the different genres.
Yes, it's a mini Books a Million, is what it is. There's a lot of books in there, but it's really relaxing. Everybody takes really good care of you. Nobody expects anything out of you other than what you're there for.
Yeah. What are you guys most looking forward to coming out for the week?
Well, I'm going to go first. Did I hear something about a 14-foot statue?
Yeah.
Okay, that's at the top of my list now. Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yeah, you'll see it at the gala. You'll see that when you come out, when you go to the car, go in for your rehearsal, you'll see this. Yeah, it's I'm not seeing it. I've just been told someone else has seen it being made, but it's the dragon and the girls there on that's the cover of the book is being made into a huge 3D massive figure next to the red carpets.
So
step,
cool.
Step and repeat there. What about you, Zach?
Well, I mean, I don't know how you beat 14-foot tall dragon, but I'm kind of a nerd. I'm a teacher, and personally, I can't wait to just sit in class and learn from some great people and with some great people. Like, when do you get that opportunity again to spend that much time learning from such great people and interacting with other authors? Like, yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah, there's nothing else like this ever anywhere. Because you got Tim Powers, Julie and I, Orson Scott Card, Larry Niven, Kevin Anderson, Rebecca Mesta, just Steve Sterling, all the different genres that you've got there. It's just amazing. And same thing for illustrators too, what you've got there. But they really enjoy it. And some people, they want the workshop. Some people are looking forward to the gala. Some people want to be able to just sit down and have lunch with these guys, and just like, and they love it. They'll love, because there's so many restaurants nearby. Tim Powers will take you all out one day for pizza or something like that. And, but then Scott Card loves, over lunch, sitting down and just chatting with people. They're just they're there for you, for them. It's just, they are so enamored with the contest. It's such an important part for them. Just as was done for them, however many years ago, they're now working to pay forward to the next generation, the next batch of writers. And the stats are that, at least 62% of you are going to go on to successful careers in writing, based upon the first 41 years. So it's such a proven record with this contest. And the fact, like I've already read you part of the review that came out from one of the most popular review magazines, but you'll be, we've also been telling people when we do these shows, people to go on and pre-order your stories, pre-order the book, so that when the book releases, it triggers, and then Amazon, you're also become a best-selling author. You'll be in the top of either science fiction or anthologies. So you have a number one already as a number one best-selling author, on Amazon. It's become now the go-to bestseller list to be able to be on, because that's like 60-70% of the sales, at least in the United States, is on Amazon. So to get that is quite it's quite a feather in your author cap.
There can be lots of opportunities. I can tell you that. There's going to be lots of, and you know what? They like when you ask questions.
Yeah.
Don't be shy.
Yeah,
sure.
They really like it. We were talking about this earlier with the guest that won before you, but different years you have different crowds coming. Some are noisier than others. Some are more laid back than others. There was one year I said, John, I'm going to kill somebody. I couldn't get nobody to talk, or it's quiet. It's like I finally just grabbed a bunch of them and said, come on, we're going to go just have a group thing. They were very quiet that year. But last year they were very outgoing group. So you never know. But so far, all the winners I've met so far, I think y'all going to have a great time. And like I said, don't be shy. Ask away. They like questions.
And what's good about this too is, like, by having these shows now, like we're doing right now you guys are meeting each other, and everybody's kind of like, it helps to break the ice, so that what we used to, before we had this show, people's first encounter with each other was the welcoming night, the day that you guys arrived. And so the ice hadn't broken yet, and people are still kind of like quiet and reserved and not sure what to expect and like that. And so now, for the most part, we will have broken through that so that you're able to hit the ground, if not running, at least walking at a good clip, to be able to get into it, and to because some people now, and now you'll be able to transfer from at least the video to in person. Several of the people I've met, because we do, there's Superstars, Life Universe and everything, Dragon Con, Comic Con, FanX, different conventions. So several people we've met as well, just for the course of the year. But it just makes it a lot easier to really get into the workshop and make it all the more effective, because it's all there for you guys. And we love it. It's just, for us, it's one of those highlights of the year. But it's just, people have different things that they look forward to, and then after the fact, they have different things that, like, well, I didn't expect this, or I didn't expect that. And just, you're there in Hollywood. Just right behind me is Hollywood Boulevard, and your hotel is that way about 50 yards. And 2 weeks ago, the Oscars were that way, also about 75 yards. So that was a real pain in the zorts, because they shut down everything and the security goes crazy and whatnot. But anyway, this is where that is. This is the heart of Hollywood where we are.
Yeah, it's a great little place. Everything's close by. They got whatchamacallit there? What's the Target and a couple of little things if you need to go shopping. Let's go places.
Yeah, there's a CVS. Yeah, there's a place like that. But we've got a lot of restaurants, and we'll have a little restaurant map for you too, so you can get where you want to go and get places to find. And
then they got that big mall across the street that's attached to the Lowe's, so there's all kind of stuff up in there.
Yeah,
it's the way they got it set up. It's really convenient. It's pretty easy. It allows you to get around and just get a good look at everything.
Yeah, and one thing we did also a couple of years, maybe 4 years ago now, the whole thing of the poor starving artists is a truism, and so a lot of times, or not a lot of, but several times, artists and writers who come who are at the beginning of their careers don't have budgets. And so some of them just, 1 year, one of them stopped coming, and he was in his room in bed. And we're like, what happened? We thought he was sick. He said he hadn't eaten for 2 days. He was so broke. And so we said, okay, that's it. So we brought him a bunch of food, and now we put into our budget every year, we provide breakfast, so if somebody can't afford it, then we'll have, boiled eggs and protein bars and stuff like that. We'll put out there so that if somebody needs that, they can get it. And we always have throughout the day a tray of protein bars and fruits and stuff like that. So if somebody can't afford doing stuff, we don't want them being distracted from being hungry to not take advantage of what we have to offer. So we established that a few years ago, and it's made a nice difference for those that couldn't afford, anything. Because it's one thing to stay at home and get your Wonder Bread and bologna and Velveeta cheese, which, when one's starting out, that's kind of like the budget. But then when you come here, you go to a restaurant or go someplace else, it's like, where do I go? So we have all type. We got the 1 star, the $1 sign, $2 sign, $3 sign, so you can know what's available based upon what you're able to actually, afford.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it easier on everybody, so you don't have to be stressing yourself out and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you'll see people like me. I'll be sneaking pizza sometimes. And if I'm downstairs eating a pizza, just come over and get a pizza. So I do. I'll sneak one here every once in a while. I have it downstairs. Well, because we're all sitting downstairs talking usually, and you never know. I'll be talking to anybody because I like getting personal stories from the judges. Some of the stories I can't use, but still they're great stories. So it also helps me to understand who they are more, because I'm listening to them just like y'all are. So I find them fascinating. They all definitely have their own personalities. It's they definitely. And one of the good things about this, if you're not savvy with the business part of being an author, they do talk about that as well.
Yeah,
they'll break the whole section. They also talk about independent publishing versus having someone helping you out. It's all of that. They bring all of that out, and there's a couple of indie publishers in the group. So
yeah, and like you were mentioning, Zach, too, about just being able to see all these guys. Even when you go to the big conventions, like any of the Worldcon, something like that, you'll find people there, but they're like in their own special thing, and they're just there as a panelist. But when it's over with, they're gone. They're not like there for you. You've got like almost a who's who of science fiction, fantasy writers and artists. And not only that, they're there for you. They're there to talk. And when they're done, they'll chat with you. And they'll have, okay, what about this? Because they're welcoming you into a different group now. So now you're going from the role of amateur writer to professional, and they treat you as a professional now. You're new, but nevertheless, for you to qualify to be in this book, you've demonstrated your ability to write. So they welcome you with open arms, and they're looking forward to helping nurture you as they can help, and but seeing you along, because they love good stories. They're always like Scott Carr will say, I read too. I need to read good stuff. So
well, think about Scott. I mean, he'll go to DragonCon, they're lining up to get his autograph, and all y'all going to have his undivided attention.
Yeah,
that's a big difference. And
being as opposed to being at a convention in a crowd of hundreds of people trying to ask a question. And
yeah. He'll be right there. You can ask the question, and he'll take his time and answer you too. He'll give you in-depth answers. One thing I like about Scott, he'll give you an in-depth answer.
Yeah. So he's got a 2-hour panel. He's got a 2-hour slot. They'll be doing you on. I think it's Wednesday morning, and then Kevin and Rebecca are in the afternoon, another 2-hour slot. But
I was gonna say I've never seen Tim or Jody back down from any questions before. So
no, they love all this stuff here. And one of the things too you're going to find is you're now in an environment where you from your home there in Salt Lake City, and Brenda, you're in Georgia,
in Alabama.
So you've got your friends and your associates, but now you're with other science fiction fantasy writers, and you're all there as a group, and it's that in itself becomes almost surreal. Probably the most surreal moment is going to be when you're after the awards ceremony, you're sitting at the table, and Scott Card, Larry Niven, Kevin Anderson come up to you and say, "Can you please sign my book for me?" That's a trip and a half.
It is. It's something else, and they mean
it's a Kodak moment.
Yeah, that's definitely a Kodak moment.
If you want to bring books, if you got like Ender's Game or any of the stuff, the Dune stuff that you want, Kevin Anderson or Ring World, and those things, bring them with you, and they'll autograph it. They'll personalize it to you on this thing, so that you can get these books signed by them. That's an opportunity that you'll have that you should not let slide by.
And like I said, there's lots of information to be had there. It's the whole time you're there, you're going to be nonstop. I mean, the schedule's packed, and they give you lots of time to get to classes, and they give you lots of time to talk with everybody afterwards. And and you'll see it. You'll come down, like you'll be going out to eat or something, or go get a snack. You'll see half the judges are in the lobby, but they come and go at different times and stuff, or they may be going out to dinner themselves sometimes and see 10 people and come by and talk for a little while. See if anybody wants to go with them. So it's always interesting to watch the interaction with everybody. And like I said, you have a wide range of judges there in a lot of different areas. Some have agents, some don't. Some are doing independent. Some have big companies representing them. So it's all there for you. Anything you needed to know is right there. And don't be scared to ask them. But
which is way cool on that stuff. So any particular you guys have, because we're almost done with the show for the day. Joe's got to get ready for another show. It's going to start in a few minutes. So any questions you have particular?
Okay, I'll ask a question. How many books are we going to be signing at the event?
Well, before then, because we've got, I think you'll be signing. We have a book signing that happens on Tuesday.
Okay.
And I think that'll be 250 books that will be signing. And then at the gala, you'll be signing another couple hundred books from people coming around asking you for their autographs. for your
Y'all
autographs.
got lucky. They cut it down to 50 at the
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah, we just ran out of time, and
It's but there's a lot of stuff you can tell too, because some of the judges, they're like, they got books stacked and they got it down to technique, man.
yeah.
So, but there's lots of people there working and helping everybody out with it. So,
Yeah.
and
Do you have any questions, Zach?
Boy, I don't know what I don't know. I'll just say thanks. Like, this is such a cool opportunity. I'm looking forward to it so much. So,
Yeah,
so thanks in advance, and I'll be full of questions once we hit the ground.
for sure. And I'll see you in a week and a half, both of you. Look forward to meeting you in person.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna let y'all get out of here, and then we're gonna wrap this up. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Author's Quill. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions, you can always write to me at iCarCoxnut. And if you cannot find me, you can always find my station manager, Michelle DeRoche. She loves to answer questions. Or if you need John or something and you can't find him, which is pretty easy to find, just write to me and I'll give you an email over at Writers of the Future. I'm not going to give you his email, people. Don't even be stupid.
Oh.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the other people outside. But Claire, I've said this 100 times. No, you can't come. Go write a book. Submit. Yeah, you might be there next year. You submit now. They still got 3 submissions left, I think. Yeah, 3.
Yeah, we just finished. I just sent the press release yesterday or 2 days ago on the winners for the first quarter of year 43. So we're moving on that. But also, if you're listening to stuff here, pre-order the book, please. Please go to Amazon or to Barnes & Noble or Books A Million or any place else where you go to get your books and pre-order Rise of the Future Volume 42, either the trade paperback, the ebook, or the audiobook. They all release at the end of April. And we want to help cheer these winners on and making them national bestsellers. And it's just one of the best ways. Plus, you're going to guaranteed to get some of the best science fiction and fantasy you're going to read this year, since these are the best new names of science fiction and fantasy.
Yeah, you're going to enjoy them. Well, guys, we got to get out of here. So thanks again for tuning in to United Public Radio and the Author's Quill. Y'all go out and have some fun. It's the weekend, people. Relax, enjoy. For anybody who's looking for the craziness, the chat will be coming up in about 40 minutes. Different rules there, so just be prepared. Good night, everybody.
Okay.